Hey guys, this is Russ, and this is She Wolf Alchemy, and we are doing another check in. So, today's quick check in, we're talking about the quiet ways we lock ourselves up while trying to keep ourselves safe, and how to tell when the structure you built for safety is not a sanctuary, it's a cell. So, y'all know I talk about emotional safety all the time. It's the hallmark of the things I talk about. And I want to start this episode off with kind of talking about why we confuse safety with control. Most of us did not really learn safety, right? For a lot of us, especially if you're a millennial or Gen Xer, we kind of grew up learning survival. See, the difference is safety is I can breathe here. Survival is I can't stop scanning the room. And when you live in survival for long enough, control starts to feel like safety. Because if I know what's going on and I know who did it, I know why, and I know where, and I'm always aware of every little thing, then I'm safe, right? Because you can't surprise me. And if you can't surprise me, I can't be caught off guard. And if I can't be caught off guard, I am safe. But safety is that resiliency, that I'm okay regardless. If I'm caught off guard, I have the ability to bounce back and I will be okay. Survival says, no, that will be the end of me. So let me jump into a hypervigilant state so I can never be caught off guard. I can never be tripped up. I will always be on 10. So I never have to get ready because I stay ready. Now, examples of this is like overworking because you don't trust rest, right? You maybe used to tell yourself, once I get this amount of money in the bank, I'm good, I'm golden, I'll feel comfortable. But then you get that amount and then you're like, well, but maybe I need to double it because things are crazy. And it's so you double it. And it's not to say you should not have financial goals. Lord knows. Yes, let's have financial goals. But it's that it's never enough. I'm always needing more. Hell, we have a lot of new people talking about the whole Taylor Swift thing, right? Because she's known for like knocking people out the way in regards to like setting records and so forth, but she does it in unethical ways, right? So like you already have the number one, it's starting when you debuted, it was number one, it's starting to die down. But instead of like taking that win, girl, you debuted at number one, there's another artist coming and people are expecting this album to be good. And what does she do? She releases this version of her previous release songs 8, 5, 9, 10 times to knock them out the way because it wasn't enough that when your album came out, it was number one. Nope. I also have to take everybody else's. This is a mentality of I can't trust that my good was enough. I can't trust to rest. I have to keep going and going and going, and nothing is ever satisfying. Another example is staying hyper independent because you don't trust being cared for. Your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit is crying out that I want someone to care for me. I want someone to make me feel safe, but I don't trust anyone to make me feel safe. So even when those who are checking on me and those who are like, hey, are you good? Do you need anything? Are saying this and being there, we're like, no, I'm fine. Because I don't trust it. Because what if you let me down? And I could have just done this on my own, and so I'd rather do it on my own. This is that emotional shutdown that you call peace. And before my homegirls listen to this and send me text messages, because I am known for a nice little emotional shutdown, uh, I want to clarify it. You are allowed to have moments where I need a break and I need a rest, and I just give me time to recalibrate. I do believe there are some of us that's just what we need. This is not an excuse. Nick and Ashley, do not text me. This is not an excuse. But there are some of us that need that. Like I am an introvert. I do not get energized by being with people. And I know for myself personally, people get confused by this because I know how to turn on. And what I mean by that is when I need to be a people person, I know how to go into people person mode. But that is not who I naturally am. I am naturally someone I want to be in the cut, chilling, headphones on, book in hand, while everybody else at the function is like gathering, talking, and so forth. That is just my natural mode. But because I'm naturally an introvert, for some of us, us introverts, like being with people is draining. We might like it, we might have fun, but like I don't get revived from that. And so I need time to like refill my battery before I can go back out in a function and be with people. And it's okay for people to have those moments, but it's when this is the only way that you know how to cope. And this is the only way you know how to regulate. And this is what you call peace. It's like by not being with folks. That's when it's like, is it? Is it? Is it peace? And again, I'll admit, I struggle, I straddle that line a little bit. But there is a version of that that is healthy, and there's a version where you're slipping into unhealthy territory. Because it can get you in that area where you're saying, like, I don't need anyone. Even though, like, deep down, you are craving someone. You're craving someone to be safe. But you put up all these roadblocks to prove to yourself that these people aren't safe. And that just keeps you alone in this state of hypervigilance where no one knows me, no one loves me, no one gets me but me. And sometimes not even me. And that is not a sanctuary. That is a cell. See, the thing is, when trauma teaches you that chaos equals danger, your nervous system will build a system to keep the chaos out. But the problem with this is, as we are building up these systems to build the chaos out, when we don't address our trauma, we start labeling everything as chaos, which means we start labeling everything as danger, which means our system does not know when to stop building. It ended up becoming an emotional HOA with like 500 bylaws. What was once supposed to be just this like emotional castle with a wall and a drawbridge built around it becomes this emotional prison with no bridge because no one's allowed in and no wall, just gates and barbed wire. And the problem with that is, before you know it, you built a fortress so high that no one could get in. And at some point you realize, yeah, not even you, because you are also detached from your emotions and your needs. And that is the danger. So some of y'all know I like talking about astrology. I'm in an astrology class now, by the way. A better one than the one before. In fact, I got a class literally in like 3 hours. But like, so I'll use myself as an example, right? I'm a Capricorn rising. And Capricorn energy, like, is the energy of structure, of discipline, of rules. And that can be divine when it's conscious. But when we start policing our own softness, we start to regulate ourselves out of intimacy. We treat joy like it's unprofessional. We start saying things like, I just want stability. And what we're actually saying is, I just don't want to feel unsafe again. But the thing is, safety is not the absence of risk. It is the presence of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your discernment, trust that if it all falls apart, I have the ability to rebuild. Because structure is supposed to help you stand taller and not shrink smaller. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure I got that from a book. I can't think of it. It came out my tongue and I was like, I don't think that was from you. So let's talk about, how did we turn this cage into a container? And I think one of the keys is asking yourselves, is this rule that I have built up protecting me, or is it punishing me? Because one of the things I kind of hate about the conversation around boundaries is we've kind of gotten to a point in society where people use the term boundaries not as a thing of safety, but as a thing of, this annoys me. And so I'm going to create this rule that is inconvenient for everyone. And that is not what boundaries are supposed to be. And boundaries also born from like things like fear will always end up feeling more like rules, will feel like rules, versus when you have boundaries that are born from love. Those type of boundaries, they will create flow for you. For example, if one of my boundaries is, I don't interact with people who make me feel unsafe, that is not a punishment. That is protecting me. That is keeping me in flow of feeling at ease, feeling comfortable, being able to react in ways that feel natural and aligned for me. But if one of my boundary is, You don't get to have female friends because I don't trust them. That's really just punishing the other person. Them not having autonomy, them not having other people, you isolating that person is not protecting them. It's not even protecting you. It is giving you control. And now it's creating restriction within your relationship because this is ultimately about a lack of trust, a lack of control, and a lack of flow between us. Let's talk about a couple other examples. As when we're looking at like a structure that will serve you, this is like scheduling downtime because you deserve rest. Your body deserves rest. And it can be healthy to have time to yourself. But like a structure that cages you will be never resting because we think our worth is tied up into how productive we are. Everybody knows me as a go to person. Everybody knows me as a leader. Everybody knows me as Mrs. Make It Happen. And so I can't rest because who am I if I'm not those things? That is a structure that cages you. A structure that serves you is choosing solitude to recharge. I don't feel like myself. I can't concentrate. I feel on edge. I just need a little bit of me time. I need to meditate for a little bit. I need to sleep for a little bit. I need to wake up and not need anybody, immediately need things, answers, conversation from me. But a structure that cages me is isolating myself so no one can disappoint me because I don't trust that love will be returned to me. One of the things you can kind of think of when we're looking at things like this is the structure that I'm saying is serving me, is it making me feel more alive? Because when you build a structure and it makes you feel more afraid, that is a sign that it is caging you. So let's make sure we go back to rebuilding safe structures. And this can look like auditing your rules, asking yourself, who was this rule even made for? Is this a rule I made because of that situation with my toxic ex, and now I'm just carrying it on with everybody? Is this a rule I made out of fear? Audit those rules. Who made them? Why were they made? And what purpose do they serve? Also, invite some softness into your schedule. Rest can be a part of regulation, and it can be safe to be a part of regulation. Redefine what consistency means to you. Being consistent within your truth matters just as much as being consistent in your routine. If my truth is that I am tired, I am overworked, I am exhausted, I do not like being in this place anymore. It makes me anxious. This role makes me anxious. I do not like feeling on edge all the time. And this is what this makes me feel like. If that is our truth, that matters. And honestly, that matters more than, well, they know me as Mrs. Always Show Up and I'm always on time and I always overdo it and they know I will go above and beyond. Okay, but if that is going against your truth of what you need and how it's affecting you, then we need to redefine which consistency matters and what consistency now means. And then let's let some safe people in. Don't mistake predictability for peace. There are people out here who are safe. And when I say safe, I want to be clear because sometimes sometimes we confuse predictable people as safe people, right? I know what I can expect from this person, even though I don't necessarily like what this person brings, or it's not exactly what I need. It's there, it's stable, and I know it'll be there. That is not always safety. A lot of times, stuff like that is also built out of fear. Safe people who make you feel alive, who make you hope, who encourage you and make you feel like there is a better future. And they might be new and they might be different, but sometimes because it's new, we see it as risky and we see risky as dangerous. And so we stay in the same place with the same people who are not the people that are fulfilling us. They're not the people that's aligned with us. They're not the people that set our soul on fire in the best of ways. And I want to be sure we are doing that audit on, am I calling this person safe because they're comfortable and they're predictable, even though they're not feeding me? And is it time for me to let people who feed and nourish me back in my life? And lastly, I would say Let that structure evolve. Every new version of you deserves a new system that fits them. Sometimes we try to evolve, but we keep the same structures we've had for the last 5 or 10 years, and that is the biggest thing holding us back. Change does not have to be bad. Change can be beautiful. And oftentimes, especially when we're talking about evolving, it's needed. Allow for change. I want us to stop thinking of safety as like a locked door, right? Think of it more as an open window, a window with boundaries, strong enough to keep out the storm, but soft enough to let the breeze in. When you have structure that serves you, it supports your spirit. When it cages you, it essentially just suffocates your growth. So I am going to leave you guys with this question. Ask yourself, where have I mistaken control for comfort? Where have I built a routine so rigid that even my joy has to clock in? And what would it look like to feel safe? Not because I'm holding everything together, but because I finally trust that I don't have to. Now, that is all I have for today's check in. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to give you guys another one next Sunday. Actually, I think I'm releasing two this Sunday because I recorded one in between sessions. I was sitting waiting and I had a thought in mind because I've been going back to studying back up on regulating our nervous system and going back to theories I have not touched on since grad school. So you guys are probably when you hear this, this is probably like the second episode that dropped this week. Or there's going to be one dropping literally the next day or in a couple of days later. So I'm going to trust and say you guys will probably hear another episode from me next Sunday. You'll hear the sound of my voice again, probably in like 3 days, but again on next Sunday. But I hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at She Wolf Alchemy. Be sure to leave us likes and reviews and share the episode with people that you love, you care for, that you think would enjoy. And I'll have a new episode for you guys in 1 week.